y'all. So last night, I laid down to go to bed, and after I got done praying, I rolled over and I closed my eyes, and I hear a quote that I heard on the radio the other day, and it kind of played back into my mind. In doing so, I felt like I needed, because I had a couple of sparing thoughts afterwards or what have you, so I thought I was getting ready to write. So I got up and I jotted the quote down in my notes, and I sat, and nothing else came to me. So then I hear post it, and I was like, that's it? That's all you want me to post? And so I do, right? I post the quote that I heard, and figure, okay, that's the end of it. And I close my eyes again to go to sleep. And then I hear I heard John 39:16, and I was like, 39:16? I was like, God, that don't make no sense. And then my eyes are still closed, and I see 39:16, but the 3 begins to separate from the 9. And then I was like, oh, John 3:9-16. I was like, my bad, God. Kind of new at this, but I got you. So I pick up my Bible and I open it up to John 3, verse 9-16. And I begin to read. This is what it said. How can this be? Nicodemus asked. You are Israel's teacher, said Jesus, and do you not understand these things? Very truly, I tell you, we speak of what we know, and we testify to what we have seen, but still you people do not accept our testimony. I have spoken to you of earthly things, and you do not believe. How then will you believe if I speak of heavenly things? No one has ever gone into heaven except the one who came from heaven, the Son of Man. Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes may have eternal life in him. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. The quote that I heard previous to this was, just because God is patient doesn't mean he approves. And I was like, when the light bulb comes on and everything clicks together, and I got excited, and I was like, this is so cool, growing up, I've always been very spiritual. I've always believed in God. I always knew that he was there. I didn't always go to church, and I haven't lived my life the correct way by any means. But I was really excited about this because all of 2024, I've spent healing and walking closer with God, building my relationship with him. Because 2023 was rough. It was probably it was a really dark year. And nonetheless, I've spent this year healing and walking closer to God. So after I read this, I was excited, and I'm talking to God. I was like, oh, you're so cool, thank you for using me and all this stuff. And then again, I try to go back to sleep, and I was like, all right, I love you, God. Thank you. Thank you. And I close my eyes to go back to sleep. And then I have a memory that flashes in my head. And it was from 2023, and at a really low point of 2023. And I have 2 particular memories in a few weeks span of one another that happened, and they both flashed. And I was told to talk about it. So I was going to write about it. I'm currently writing a book. It's my life's testimony, and I was going to save all my stories for my book. And God said no, not these ones. He was like, I want you to talk about it now. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just write a little post. And he said no. And I was like, and I kind of cringed. And because it's scary. These moments are very personal. That's what I told him. I was like, but these are really personal moments, and it's kind of embarrassing, and it's just sad, and he was like, I got to, and I was like, all right, and then I was like, can I do it tomorrow, because I'm tired, and he's, so here I am. So the memories that flashed in my head, in August, the end of August last year, I became homeless, and I was living out of my car. I had everyone, I felt like everyone had turned against me. My family, my children, the father of my kids, just, I had it coming from every direction. And I was done. I was exhausted. I was tired of fighting. I have fought all of my life, and I didn't want to fight anymore. I was done. I had just got into an argument with somebody, and I had walked away, and I was walking down the road, and my heart was breaking. I was crying. I was angry. I was hurt. And I walked along the side of the road until I came up to where there were some bushes. And I went and I sat behind these bushes. And I always had carried a switchblade. And now this is graphic, so I don't know. I'll try to word it so not to get in trouble, but so I took it and I forcefully put it to my arm. Made like four hefty incisions, we'll say, very quickly. Just in the wrong direction, for a couple different reasons. One, I kind of didn't know what it was going to feel like. I thought it was going to hurt, which didn't feel good. But nonetheless, I wanted to see the max amount of pain, and then I wanted the pain that I was feeling inside to come out and go away. And then after the fourth or fifth one, I turned the blade into the correct position, and I pushed down, and I started to go down, and then I hear this voice that said, "Christy, stop." And then my children's faces flashed to my eyes, and I just screamed. And cried, and I couldn't do anything else. I was frozen. I didn't know what else to do. So flash forward, and I'm now arguing with my now ex, and this has been like a few weeks later, and I'm still getting it from every angle. And he's driving my car. I am sitting in the passenger seat, and I look out the window, and I have some tears that came down, and I look up at the sky, and I said, "Okay, God, I can't. I'm done. I'm officially done." And I meant it. Like, I was over it. And then suddenly the person I was with was just like, "Do you want to go to church?" And I look forward, and the church that we attended a few times was right in front.